Hello, friends. Welcome to Krazy Hodophiles. This is Subharti, your travel guide, and I have Priyanka with me as my companion. In this video, what we are going to talk about is a trip, the trip to Sri Lanka. It was a really special trip because we had to do a lot of planning, a lot of things that we needed to go ahead and think about, and then implement those as well to make the trip a successful one. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe button, and you can share the video with your friends and your family so that we can keep coming back with more videos. The planning of this trip took a really long time and a lot of our efforts as well because we were running tight on budget. So, what we did was we divided the trip or the planning of the trip into four parts. First, being the flights, because we wanted to think about whether we would take a direct flight or we would go through a connecting one. So, that is something we needed to work upon. Second, being the stay, because we really wanted to stay close to the places that we were planning to visit. Third, being, of course, the commutation part, wherein how would we go between different places so that we can cover each and every place and in the right time as well. Fourth, being, of course, the budget, because it was really going to be a task to accommodate each and everything that we were planning to do on this trip. Talking about flights, a normal trip on a flight, that to an economy, from Delhi to Colombo. The reason why I say Colombo is because that was our base, and from there we were planning to cover the whole continent. Now, talking about the flights, if you travel in economy, and for one person, it's going to cost around 10 to 15,000 INR for a return trip, and that would be only that can only be taken care of if you plan and if you book your flights well in advance. Okay. Now, my advice to you would be, as soon as you have the dates finalized for your trip, please go ahead and book the flights at the first instance. This way you would be able to get a very good deal on different travel websites which do offer flight bookings. Talking about hotels, it was always high on priority. The reason being, once you have traveled the whole day, the best thing that you can think of is a bed of your own where you can take rest and get ready and rejuvenate to get started the next day for your ongoing trip. Now, when I talk about stay, what we did was we did a lot of research and we came across certain hostels which were really good and cost efficient. But the only problem was that we were a couple traveling. So, for all those people who like to travel solo, please go ahead and book a hostel because they are nearby locations and they are easily accessible, and you can get a single bed all the time, and it's cost efficient too. Trust me on that. Now, coming on to the hotels, so we get down working on the different hotels, and what we found out was that there were certain guest houses which were really cheap but had good ratings as well on different websites. So we did go ahead and book those guest houses for different dates, and we were ready to rock and roll. Now, coming on to commuting. Commuting is again a very important part of a trip, right? Now, if we go ahead and talk about it, now what we were trying to do is go through each and every mode of transport to see which one would fit our budget really easily and would also go ahead and be accurately useful to us, just like we wanted it to be. Now, if I talk about the transport by cab, right, it's really, really costly in Sri Lanka. And to be really frank with you, that is an option that we were absolutely planning to avoid. Then we went ahead and we did a lot of research about how the bus system works in Sri Lanka. Thankfully, we found out that buses are a good option and they serve in quite a frequency. But then the only problem is it can get really, really crowded in a bus because there's the local people traveling as well. That's their daily transport. And now we as tourists getting on that bus again, obviously that becomes a bit jam packed, to be really frank with you. After that, we did go ahead and did a lot of research about the train system in Sri Lanka. Now, Coming on to the train system, trust me, it is the best option you can get because it covers almost each and every city in Sri Lanka, and they have got different classes in between them. So if you are comfortable traveling in first class, you go ahead and purchase a ticket for it. Then there is second class, third class, so forth, and for general public as well. And if I talk about the cost part, it is, I would not say really expensive, but then it is cheaper than the road transport, to be really frank with you. So please go ahead and do a lot of research, which we would also be discussing on in our upcoming videos. That how did we come across different trains and how did we get information about the train and the bus system as well, because we did commute by bus as well a lot in between. So please hold on and watch all the videos, and you would get all your answers that you might have in your mind right now. Now, there's another option which you can also explore when you are traveling by road in Sri Lanka. That is tuk-tuk, because they have quite a few tuk-tuks out there. You can go ahead and book it directly with them, or you can also go through your hotel. If I talk about us, so what we did was we preferred walking most of the times. So whenever we felt that there was a need of a tuk-tuk, we always went through our hotel, because that ways we were assured that we were not getting overcharged, because most of the hotels have their fixed rates with the tuk-tuk walas. So that is a much better option if you go ahead for it. You can book it yourself as well. Randomly just get out on the road and just, if you see any empty tuk-tuk, you can go ahead and book it. But then if you are not a local out there, there is a possibility that they would overcharge you a lot. So if you want, if as I had already said in the video, that we were tight on budget, so we had to make sure that we are not spending any extra amount wherever there was an option. So we went ahead and we traveled most of the times by foot. Wherever we felt the need of a tuk-tuk, we took it. And then whenever we felt that the distance was quite long and we needed a better transportation, we went ahead and went for a bus, and that's how we did our travel. Now, talking about booking a tuk-tuk in Colombo, it's much easier there because they have certain fixed rates. But then in all the other cities, it can become quite a task. So be ready and always hone up your bargaining skills, because that is something which would really help you when you go ahead and book those tuk-tuks and travel around. At the starting of the video, I had mentioned that we had divided the trip planning into four parts. Now, coming on to the budget part, that is something which can really get tricky at times, because you want to cover a lot of things, but then you also have to stay within the budget that you have created for yourself. If I talk about the different parts of the trip, like commuting and hotel and flight, we had divided those parts into a different budget amounts. If I talk about the flights, the amount that we thought that we would stick to is somewhere around 22,000 INR, which was for traveling from Delhi, India, to Colombo, and then from Colombo back to Bangalore. That is about the flight. You can go ahead and check for Delhi Colombo back to Delhi as well, and it is still going to be around the same amount. Then we went ahead and checked on the commuting part. Now, commuting part, as I had said earlier, is something which we were not that sure of, because it is totally depending on the local transport. Still, we had kept a slight budget, which we would try to cover up every time we go out there. And that is something which we can definitely let you know in case you are interested to know more about it. I could just leave a comment in the comment section and we will get back to you. Now, if I talk about the train journey, again, train journey is something which is really comfortable, and it is, I would not say that costly, but it is something which is well connected, so it will not hurt that much. That is why we stuck to the train part, and then whenever we wanted to go on a bus, we did that as well, again, within the budget. Another thing that really helped us was that for Indian nationals who are visiting Sri Lanka, visa is free. You just have to fill an online form and then just show that form at the airport. Sometimes they don't even ask for it. So you can just be rest assured if you have the printout copy of it, just go to the airport, show your passport along with it, and you should be good. Now, talking about hotels, hotel is something which is really important for your trip because at the end of the busy day, you would definitely like to rest and think and rejuvenate so that you're ready for the next day. Now, if I talk about the hotels, we did a lot of research about the hotel and we found out that within 1500 INR, we could get a good hotel or a guest house, which would also give you ample opportunity to cover different places as well, which you were planning to cover, and that would help you out a lot. But in case you are someone who wants to spend a bit more on a hotel, please feel free to do that. But whatever you do, please come up with a final amount because if you just leave it open, you might end up exceeding your budget. That is the best way to go about planning for a hotel as well, and you would find lots of it in Sri Lanka. The itinerary for Sri Lanka is as follows. We departed out of Delhi from Indira Gandhi Airport and we went to Bandaranaike Airport in Colombo, Sri Lanka. Once we reached there, we decided that we would visit Nikombo, and there we visited Angara Karamula Temple, the picture that you see right now in front of you. We stayed there for a couple of hours and then we went to the Colombo city, I mean the main city. And we thought that we will take rest, we'll look some places out there, and then we took rest there. The next day we went for Gaul. We took an early train to Gaul Fort, and the picture that you see is of the famous lighthouse in Gaul Fort. It was just a day trip, so we decided that we will go to Marisa and just to rejuvenate and because that's a beach destination. So we stayed in Marisa for 2 days. Then we went to Ventota. We stayed in Ventota for one day. That's again a beach destination, a beautiful city to visit. Now it was time to think of something different, so we decided that we would go to Kandy, Sri Lanka. Kandy again is a place which is full of hills and a beautiful city again. The picture that you see is the Sacred Tooth Relic Temple. It's quite famous there. Then we spent one day in Kandy and we decided we'll go to Ella, which is our final destination. We took the World Heritage train there, and the picture that you see is a Buddha statue on top of the Little Adams Peak. After staying in Ella for 2 days, we decided it was time to go back, and we decided we'll go back to Colombo, Bandaranaike Airport. 5 cities, 7 days, 60,000 INR, tight budget. Possible? Not possible? Let's explore Sri Lanka together. If you like the video, please support us by clicking the like button and show your love. To get the notification of the Sri Lankan tour and the upcoming videos, please click on subscribe button and hit the notification bell on your screen so that you are notified whenever a new video is out.